What's going on, guys? Liam here from the Detrimental Gamers, and today I have another top 5 for you guys, and it's going to be my top 5 gaming protagonists. Now, this list is obviously completely my personal opinion, and don't take any of it to heart, because you might have a different opinion on it, so I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings with this list. If you have a different opinion than me, put down in the comments below what your top 5 is. Starting with number 5, I have one of my favorite characters from a video game, and his name is Booker DeWitt. He is from BioShock. Mainly BioShock Infinite is what I know him from, because it's the newest one, obviously, in the series. Now, Booker, I love the evolution of his character throughout the series, and I loved what happened at the end of BioShock Infinite with him, but it was very confusing for a lot of people. But once I understood it, I thought it was pretty cool. The story of BioShock is also great. Like, the story of Booker and what happens with him is really cool. Obviously, Booker's a badass in the games. He has some awesome weapons and abilities that he can do with the elixirs and such. And I love the steampunk theme of the games and of Booker, how he dresses in all the late 1800s aesthetics of the game. Now, moving on to number 4, I have Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. One of my favorite things that I learned about him is that he's based off of Johnny Knoxville and Harrison Ford, two of my favorite people on the planet. Johnny Knoxville, if you don't know him, he's from the Jackass series, which is pretty hilarious. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. And Harrison Ford is from some of my favorite movies of all time as a child. Star Wars and Indiana Jones are some of his most notable ones, and there's a long list of other ones as well. Something else that I like about Nathan Drake is that he's very funny and witty throughout the games. He often cracks jokes that you have to pay attention to notice and are pretty funny at times. And one more thing about Nathan is that he's a very realistic character. Like, he just seems like he could be real, actually, so I really like that about him. Moving on to number 3, I have Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series. Sorry, and some things that I enjoyed about him were you actually get to make choices for him, so it's not like he has a set choice pattern. Like, you get to make them for him, so that's pretty cool. He has a great evolution throughout the 3 games. Although the ending of the 3rd game was awful, in most people's opinion, including mine, it still was awesome how he evolved and the choices you made affected the story in the end. And I also think that Commander Shepard is a really big badass. I mean, you can make him, if you're a dick with him, you could make him seem like a huge badass, because you can make that renegade go real high.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. We're bang, okay?
Moving on to number 2, I have Ezio Auditore. If you don't know who this is, there's something wrong with you. You haven't played the Assassin's Creed games, and you're a freak of nature. Because Ezio is... my number 1 and number 2 were really hard to decide on, because they're 2 of my favorite characters in any games I ever played. But some reasons that I like Ezio are that he's hilarious. He is really funny throughout the games, and some of the instances and scenes that he's in are really funny, in my opinion. Another thing that I like about him is that he's also realistic. Like, I could honestly see, like, some of the Italian things that like he's involved with, because he's obviously from Italy. Like, they actually made him seem like a true Italian. Also, this is a give me, sorry. He's an assassin, and that's just badass in general. Being an assassin's awesome. If I didn't want to be a programmer, I'd become an assassin, obviously. And another thing I liked about Ezio is that I love the story of the Assassin's Creed games, especially the ones involving him in it. I loved my favorite Assassin's Creed games. He's the protagonist in Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So I think that he did a really good job of being the protagonist in those. Moving on to number 1. Now this one was really hard to decide on, but I felt like he was like the best choice for this, and I think a lot of people will agree with me here. Number 1 is Master Chief from the Halo series. Now, one of my favorite things about Master Chief is that he's very mysterious. Like, there's a lot that you don't know about him, and you have to like look into to actually figure out. And sometimes you don't even know. Like, there's no way to truly know how he is, so you have to just make assumptions for it. And I'm assuming eventually we'll learn more and more as the series goes on. It's been out for a long time, but I think as the series progresses, we'll start learning more about him as an individual. Now, some more things that I like about Master Chief is his backstory, like how he was created and how he became like a Spartan and all that. I think that's a really cool story to learn. One of the best things about Master Chief is that a lot of FPS games don't have good protagonists and good story modes, but I think Halo by far has the best out of any of them. So I'd say he's definitely the best FPS protagonist of any that I've ever played as. And obviously, Master Chief has to be the biggest badass from any game anyone's ever played. He's just doing kickflips and shit everywhere. Not kickflips, he's not Tony Hawk, but he's doing flips and shit everywhere. He's kicking people in the face. He's rolling around and shit, shooting people in the face. He has to be the biggest badass I've ever seen, to be honest. That's all we got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my top 5. If you don't agree with it, go down in the comments below and tell me your top 5. I'd really like to see what you guys think about this, and I hope you guys are enjoying the top 5 series. I think it's been a really good idea, and I hope I can get my subscriber count up with this series. So, for more Detrimental Gaming, please like, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.